Just when you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss, kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it, we leaving. Yeah, we achieving, can't be beaten. See it loud, see it proud from the top of my lungs. Hometown, sacred ground, you ain't trying with us. Around this time, you really can't deny. You can't run, you can't hide when the Patriot comes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Patriots
How we
Friday
doing?
Night Lights podcast. Let's go.
Okay, the draft just concluded.
How you feeling?
Obviously, Will Campbell. That was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the Will Campbell pick. I feel like that was the one. Like that probably was my favorite one of the night. The other ones, I'm kind of like on the side of like, hey, listen, we'll see what you do. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those situations. And it's like nothing to the players.
Yeah, I'm
but
still
it's
a
just
little iffy with the
Travion.
Travion Henderson.
Yeah, the Travion Henderson pick. Yeah. I'm you cutting a little bit in and out, but I caught what you said. Yeah, I'm definitely on the same side with things with that one too, because I felt like in the early rounds for you to go running back right there was just like, wow. You know what I mean? When there were edges on the board.
Yeah, I'm still like obviously Travion Henderson's like a great running back, and like in the college realm, I think he was a good pick, but like I didn't think using him second round was our best option.
Right.
But I mean, we ended up with Kyle Williams, which is someone that I was actually really looking at. I was kind of watching the highlights like the week before, or whatever, and he just caught my eye like so quick. So I'm happy that we ended up with a receiver that is still, in that realm of like the Jaden Higgins, the Royals, the Noels, right, stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder how that's gonna play out for Pop Douglas though. I mean, considering I guess he's an inside-out threat. So I guess Pop Douglas can still get on the field with him. But I guess we won't know, like, because he's not like a bigger wide receiver. You understand what I'm saying? He definitely can separate. He has good hands. I feel like he has a good attitude towards the game. And I'm honestly hoping that Jalen Pope and Javon Baker starts to show what they were in college too, at least with some likely playmaking ability. Because we have Drake May. You understand what I'm saying? We have Drake May.
Right.
And if Travion Henderson becomes as advertised, like I said, if these players can really buy in and be a margin of who they were even at the college level, then yeah, you could say that the Patriots had a good draft. You understand what I'm saying? But we got to get there. But the Travion Henderson pick, like I said, it's not that I don't like the player. It's I was surprised that they went running back at that particular spot when there was so many other things that was screaming like these are needs. All right, wide receiver, I get it. You could afford to wait to the third round. Once Jaden Higgins came off the board, I was okay with them taking the later round receiver anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just feel like they could have got another high position player right there, but they went for the running back. So, I mean, think about it though, because realistically, now I'm thinking about it, the only other place I think that they possibly could have went with that second round pick is on the edge because, all right, like I said, wide receiver. Once Jaden Higgins came off the board, I was thinking more so, all right, the rest of these guys are third rounders, and then you look at it, okay, you got Will Campbell on the offensive line. You also wide receiver room look like it's going to be
Okay.
crowded.
Yeah, we
what I
got Jared Wilson on the line.
Yeah, but I'm talking about at this point in the draft, like just kind of like them assessing the roster. So it's like
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they felt like running back was the place to go right there because he did. Elliot Wolf did say it was a disagreement. I would love to see like
Yeah, I had a feeling that it was because of Jaden Higgins. I think that was someone that they were waiting on, just like the way the draft kind of went beforehand. I think it was a Jaden Higgins.
It was Luther
Yeah,
Burden.
that's why.
It was Luther Burden that was still
Maybe it was
there.
Luther Burden. Yeah, because
They
I
could have
know.
got a potential number one receiver with Luther Burden. Yep. That's who was right there, and the Bears ended up taking him. I think shortly after.
Which was like that's a dumb pick by them. I don't see why they're doing that.
Oh, they loaded up on offensive weapons. They did the same thing they did last year.
Right, exactly. They just
they went Coastal Lovely. Luther Burden. They got Romo Doomsday last year. DJ Moore has this contract.
Rewatching the same dish. Like they didn't.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, so I think that was the big thing, but I mean it's fine. I mean we ended up with Kyle Williams, who I really liked. So like at the end of the day, it's not like the biggest deal. I mean, if Travion Henderson overtakes Mondre, then it's like this conversation doesn't even matter. I don't know what if he's gonna. There's such different types of backs, so I think it's gonna be a good 1-2, right? Because he's a super pass blocking running back. That's like all everyone talks about is his pass blocking abilities. Right? He's another receiving option, which is nice. But I'm besides Will Campbell, I think Kyle Williams is my favorite pick. Like everyone's talking about the Braden Swinson from LSU.
I think he's a good.
I never really heard of him, so I don't really have an opinion. Like there's always like the guys in the 5th or 6th round that everyone says are steals. So it's like, can I even believe that? Because I don't really know the guy. I didn't really watch him much.
I think pairing him with the group that they got him with Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Keon White, and guys that are depth pieces, like he would be a good depth to come off the edge behind like a Keon White or certain packages, maybe where we could see him get about 6.5, 7 sacks a season. And that's a pretty good player considering once you get into the playoffs with him. And then let's say he just has one of those games, or you understand what I'm saying? Like he could be one of those players that any given week the right tackle or left tackle might be so bad that a player like him could have a coming out party against him. You understand what I'm saying? Like Chop Robinson had a game against us last year. Like he wasn't making much noise against anybody else, but against our bad offensive line, he sacked Drake May 3 times. And he looked like a coming out star. So I think Braden Swinson would be good. I do like the Kyle Williams pick. I think it was a good draft overall because even if the that center they got from Minnesota doesn't work, you got a center from Georgia, which follows the trend of the David Andrews. So we know those guys can block and they can especially run block because Georgia is a run first type of school. So they did get some like blue blood players that got like championship DNA in them. Even like Will Campbell being at LSU, being in that environment. Like I said, you got a Georgia player. You also got a player from Ohio State that came from a championship program. And you know what I mean? So I think the Patriots should be all right. We just got to see it now. But there are going to be a lot of people that's about to get cut. You would assume so, right? He got me on mute. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about the Patriots draft. As far who can I say that I like in the later rounds? I like the Braden Swinson pick. Damn, I'm trying to think. Let me look this up on my phone. Oh yeah, I like that. I like the nickel. I like the nickelback that they got. I think he came from Cal. I like him. I think that'll be a good player for them.
Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know what the hell just happened. I just lost kind of everything here. Can you
What's
hear
up?
me?
Yeah, I can hear
But
you.
I don't know what the hell happened. I just lost everything. Like my whole
Yeah,
house just lost
technical
lost everything.
difficulty. That's
That
why I
was
just
wild.
logged off because I'm like, all right, if we log back on, just edit it. You know what I mean? We're gonna edit that
Yeah,
little. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to find that to
that
edit
was
it.
wild. Like everything just shut off in my house, and
Whoa.
now I think everything's back. So weird. Well, okay. Continue what you're saying.
Yeah, like basically what I was saying was overall I do feel like they addressed a lot of needs because like I said, they weren't unless you were adding another potential star, you weren't about to just add any old wide receiver in that room at that pick. Tight end, they seem to be comfortable there. They seem to clean up the offensive line. They brought in a bunch of new linebackers. They got a new corner. You understand what I'm saying? So I just feel like cornerback running back right there was kind of the position that they felt like, all right, this is what we're gonna need. I do like the kid that they got out of did he go to Cal? The nickel
The safety, yes.
I like his tape. Is it Craig Woodson or Craig
Yeah,
Williamson?
Craig Wilson. Yeah,
I like him. He's a hitter. That's for sure.
yeah.
So
He looked pretty nice. The the front office had a lot of hype with him. Just like seeing all like the videos of the behind the scenes and stuff. They seemed like super excited about him, especially Vrabel.
yeah, I definitely like I said, I watched his tape. I thought his tape was really good. So
Yeah.
I feel like these are players that we're possibly going to see on this team coming up and in the near future, because I do feel like there are going to be a lot of cuts coming up, like real soon.
Yeah, there was like a 6 of like the random people that got cut because we're at 96. So now we're down to 90. But I mean, Jake Andrews was the only name that I really recognized, and I mean, we all knew that he wasn't going to do shit. So it wasn't really
talking about guys like Kendrick Bourne.
right. Exactly.
Who else can we throw in there?
I mean, obviously Baker and Polk are going to be names that are going to get brought up. Booty for some reason is a hot name in the trade market, which kind of upsets me. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
I mean, I think if it would have, why wouldn't it have happened at draft night?
Right, exactly. Like, I think at this point,
right? Like,
exactly.
Why wouldn't it have happened draft night? Like, even the whole thing, like with the whole Jalen Ramsey trade and the Dolphins, like, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah, I was about to say, like with all those kind of trades, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey are still on the Dolphins. There wasn't any like draft pick trades for players during the draft.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any.
Yeah, the draft, and then to find out that like there was some like collusion with the whole Shador Sanders things and all that. Like, I just feel like they just made a spectacle of it this year, because it was already kind of like thinking about the draft. Like, do you feel like this was one of the most least hyped drafts you've ever experienced? And it sucks because we only get to feel it once a season.
I would say with like all the top picks wise, yeah, because like Shador was the hype, right? I feel like he was most of it, and obviously he wasn't anything serious. But like Cam Ward, no one is saying anything about Cam Ward right now. Like, I haven't heard a peep. Even Abdul Carter, who was getting a lot of hype beforehand, I haven't really heard much about that. I'm really shocked about Travis Hunter, right? I mean, because he's like everyone says generational player. He literally is like a generational talent, and yet like there's not really a lot talking about him, right? Especially with the Jags. Like, that was a crazy trade they did. Like, I feel like that wasn't really talked about much. Like, them moving up from 5th to 2nd to get him, to give up a first round and a second or something. Like, that was pretty wild, and it doesn't really seem like anyone's talking about it. But I don't know if it's like the least hype draft, because like all the hype is on the Patriots, which part of me doesn't like that. Like, it's so overwhelmingly positive for us. Like, everyone says that we had the best draft, which makes me nervous. I don't want everyone, saying the same exact thing. So it's kind of tricky, because I feel like the Patriots are getting the most talked, but like everything else doesn't really seem like it's getting much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems like it's so like not hyped up at all. Like, even to the like, it's just, I don't know.
Like Ted McMillan going to the Panthers, I've seen basically nothing talking about that. And Ted McMillan
was a stupid
was
pick, but by them, but I can see why they would do it. His catch radius with a shorter quarterback, you know what I mean? He can help Bryce Young.
Right.
A little bit better over the line. Like, he can help Bryce Young in a lot of ways, but the Carolina Panthers had better options there than Ted McMillan for sure.
Yeah, and just like, stuff like that. Like, I mean, all I'm seeing is Shador Sanders, which is starting to piss me off, because like I didn't really like Shador Sanders all too much, but now I'm starting to fucking hate him, because like that's all like ESPN posted him running up a hill. It's like, okay, like that's literally what every fucking player does.
I mean, because like me personally, like I said, like with the whole thing with Shador, like, all right, a lot of people, if you don't like his arrogance, like whatever, but it's like Shador isn't a player that you can really say that did anything wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he doesn't really go out. You don't hear scandals about him. He's not like a bad guy or nothing like that. He's just flamboyant. and he's cocky. You know what I mean? As he should be. Like I don't see no problem with it, but to find out that there actually was collusion, that he was taken off draft boards, like that's crazy considering that people like Joe Mixon and a lot of other guys still got drafted for things that was like far worse. It's just odd to me. You know what I mean? That like it's
Right.
just to choose that. Like I said, like for whatever it is, like all right, people don't like his arrogance and flamboyantness. He probably really did overthought himself in the pre-draft process, and you know it rubs some people the wrong way, and that's an understandable thing too. But to do it like that though, you know, it was a little fucked up, and
Yeah, I think his dad had a lot to kind of do with it. I think teams were getting a little sick of Dion.
I feel like here's my honest opinion on the situation. Here's what I feel like would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Teams felt like they would have took Shedeur Sanders. Let's say if you already like, okay, he's decent. I'm not gonna say he's terrible, but he's decent. But what if he comes into the league and you know we don't have all the infrastructure and he starts to look terrible? Now I got to get up here and answer questions about well, what's going on with Shedeur Sanders, and then the narrative's gonna flip to whoever has selected him, their job security is going to start getting called into question just at behest of Deion Sanders alone, especially if Deion Sanders goes on to have another successful season at Colorado. If Shedeur Sanders starts struggling in the league, reporters are going to call for his dad. So that means new coach, new GM, because now that means Deion Sanders is going to want to – well, this is what they're thinking because I don't know this for sure. But maybe they're thinking, oh, then this guy's going to try to come in here, bring his cachet, and move things around, say how this, that, and the third should be. So it's like the teams that really needed him are coaching staffs that are literally coaching for their jobs. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like they made safer picks like, yeah, let's take this edge rusher, or let's take this defensive tackle because, okay, hey, owner, you see what the quarterback draft was last year. It's not many good quarterbacks there. I could say going into 2026, there should be some better options. Well, you got guys like Drew Aller and Arch Manning.
Nussmeier.
Yeah, you know, there's better quarterbacks coming out next year, so some teams are probably like, okay, we're sitting in this position. You want a blue chip player? Okay, that's Abdul Carter. That's Mason Graham, or whatever the case may be. And we'll get our guy next year. Because even if they got their guy this year, are they ready to contend for a Super Bowl? So they're probably like, listen, we're going to stockpile. And that's how Cleveland, a lot of them teams been for years. They get good players, but don't do nothing with them.
Right, yeah, like Myles Garrett.
Loaded.
I mean, like literally Myles Garrett. Like you have like the best defender and you haven't done anything. Yeah, because they got their freaking quarterback room is so crowded. They have what, 5 or 6 of them?
Yeah.
That's kind of wild. But I think getting Mason Graham was cool.
But we all know that Deshaun Watson's not going to play this year, so
yeah, I mean,
take him out of the equation. But I mean, but to select 2 rookies that close like that, and to be honest with you, not a lot of people was thinking that Dylan Gabriel was going to beat out Shedeur Sanders. To be truthful with you, Shedeur Sanders is going to beat out a lot of those quarterbacks. You know, like I said, that stuff about arm strength and all of that, like they said the same thing about Bo Nix, and then we watch him go out those 70-yard bombs last year. And it's just, it all comes down to coaching and can the player fulfill what that coach is putting out there to him, or if there's some translation there. At the end of the day, Cleveland seems to be pretty cool with their coaching staff because I don't know what Kevin Stefanski has done. Every other organization, they've been firing guys after.
Right.
But I'm not saying Stefanski should be fired because who knows? Maybe you eventually will win a Super Bowl with him, but it takes time to build those winning teams, and especially when you don't have a quarterback. But in Cleveland's case, I know it just sucks for them because for you to be that bad that long, and there were a lot of other teams that were going through it too. And almost everybody else in the AFC has gotten themselves a quarterback. The Cleveland Browns have yet to find a quarterback in its existence
Right.
in the NFL.
Yep. Definitely. So
I got another.
Yeah, what?
What do you think about Abdul Carter trying to ask for Lawrence Taylor's 56? I'm like, he's
I'm totally on LT's side. That is a crazy ask.
yeah.
One, it's retired. Two, it's the greatest, like arguably the greatest defender of all time. He's the greatest Giant of all time.
Arguably the greatest player between him and Tom.
Right. Exactly. Like that's an insane ask to go for 56. Like I don't blame LT for being like, you're an idiot. Like stop.
And you haven't even gotten a sack in the NFL yet, and it's like
they already did that with Malik Neighbors, like on retiring a number, which was already kind of crazy. But then to go to Lawrence Taylor, I mean, that's like someone like if let's say Jim Brown's number is retired and some running back asked for Jim Brown's number on the Browns, right? Like you don't do that. Like that's crazy. Like that's. You know what I mean? Like
I would love if it was a gift. Now, if I came to the team and one of the legends was like, "Hey, I love what you're doing, and I see a lot of potential, and I'm gifting you with this," you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, to reach out and you haven't even taken a sack, so that means every week that everybody sees you with that number on, that's all they're going to be talking about, and not to mention you're not on a very good team.
Yeah, if you wore 56, like every single play that you're out there, they're going to compare to LT.
Yeah, like you're
guess what? You're not going to live up to. You're just not.
That's what I'm saying. You're not the best. Like you're on the worst team in your division. Not to mention, like I said, he's not Micah Parsons at all. He's more of Chop Robinson. I promise you. And Chop Robinson's a bad player. But
this guy played one season of being an edge.
Yeah, full edge. Yeah, he's
right. And you're asking for LT's number.
He has to learn how to bull rush. There's a lot that he still has to learn.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't get him because after hearing that, it's like, holy fuck, this guy's way over his head.
Yeah, because it's like
LT
right now, the team is in such a delicate spot that. Listening to Will Campbell talk, his attitude and everything, listening to Drake May talk last year, his attitude, Christian Gonzalez, Christian Barmore, that young core, Keon White.
We need to talk more about Will Campbell getting it like after he got picked, seeing that he's like willing to fight and die for the offensive line and Drake May. Like that's fucking awesome. That is so awesome. He's like crying and he's like fighting through his tears and just saying that he's willing to die. Like that's exactly why we drafted him. That's a Mike Vrabel dude. Like obviously he's the best lineman in college football, but like mentality and just personality wise, he's exactly what we were looking for.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, I love Will Campbell. He's a A++++ pick. That was just so awesome to see that. And then like you see him. In the plane ride and doing his first day and stuff at the press conference. I mean, he's just so you can just tell that he genuinely loves football and is like willing to do whatever it takes to win, which I think that's right. The whole offseason we're talking about being culture setters and like trying to establish something like that's the guy that does that. Right. Drake May is obviously a guy who loves football. That's another guy that establishes that. Yep. Like I think just where we were at as a franchise, not only player-wise was he a need, but I think person-wise he's a need, and he fits the bill.
100%. It's just like that's what I said. They needed that. They needed somebody like that on offense that I feel like that's going to hold guys accountable and is going to check egos. He's going to check egos, and you can already see it. I feel like him and Drake May will have that a bond. You understand what I'm saying? a bomb, and
Right.
hopefully Jarrett Wilson. Hopefully he comes
Yep.
in. And he's another dog, and we'll see if Cole Strange brings us that upside that he once had, or we know that he can get to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Where do you think Jared Wilson's going to play? Because I'm seeing guard. So I don't know if we'll do center just because we just signed that center, the one from the Vikings.
if they're still talking about putting somebody at guard, then that means Cole Strange is out of the door.
Yeah, because we just declined his 5th year. So
Because Michael Wynn's not, he's going to move to right guard while Morgan Moses moves to right tackle.
yeah.
So
I mean, if Jared Wilson can outbeat Cole Strange, like I'm all for it. But I'm wondering if the plan is to have him at guard or just keep him at center, or just have him sit a year or something, or just try to beat out the Vikings guy.
I like Cole Strange. I think Cole Strange. I don't know. Like, he got hurt, but I don't know. I don't feel like he's that bad. I honestly don't.
He's just it's the injury stuff, right? That's kind of where the question marks really start to kick in. So I'm wondering if because we don't know where he's at physically, so I wonder if there's questions, right? And that's why we got the Jared Wilson pick. Is like there's still questions about his health because he should be. I think he should be 100% because he was playing at the end of the year, but like, I mean, who knows? So I'm kind of curious that if his health had anything to do with it, or I'm just curious if Jared Wilson's going to play center or not, because he was the highest rated center in college football, which is like crazy that we got him that late, and he was the best center in the league or in the country. So I feel like we're going to use him as center, but
because he's a center. That's what I'm saying. That 1 year contract we just gave to that guy from the Vikings, I'm pretty sure he's coming into training camp battling. That's a training camp battle right there. The wide receiver room is definitely going to be something to watch for. Definitely going to be something to watch for in training camp because
that's probably going to be the most interesting just because it's so crowded. I mean, that has to be our most crowded room that we have.
Yeah, and there's so many newcomers, and there's 2 guys in that locker room that maybe didn't get a chance to show everything that they were worth last year. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Kyle Williams is a guy because his tape is so electric. He was so fun to watch. I hope that it translates into the NFL.
I like him. I think he's going to be good. But out of all this, I just don't like that how expandable I feel like they're trying to make Kayshon Boutte.
I like for someone who like really busted his ass and like did it the right way and worked his way in. Like I feel like that's just like sends a bad message to the team.
For sure. That's why I'm just like I don't know I don't know. I just feel like, Mike Vrabel's going to come in and make this team what he wants it to look like. So certain guys that were like, oh, well, this guy's a good player, they're not trying to build around them. They're trying to move them aside. And like I said, Jelani Tavai's still there, but Anthony Jennings still there. Obviously, you want to keep him because of the run defense on the edge. That's why I'm just like, why the hell did they even sign Harold Landry? You know what I'm saying? Like, him and Anthony Jennings was the same thing, and then some of the reports that were coming out about Harold Landry wasn't promising either. About how since he injured himself, he hasn't come back the same. He played closer to 235 last year. Rather than I forgot what they got him listed as. So,
but it's I don't know. They just have they have a lot of depth, which is nice. Like it's nice to have this kind of depth. But with like Kyle Williams and like, who's going to be kicked out, I wonder where Mac Hollins is going to stay with all this, because I feel like him and Mac Hollins are kind of like that deep threat kind of player. 'Cause I still can't stand Mac Hollins. I don't care what people say about like locker room and stuff. I can't stand him. I don't know how personality wise he fits in with what we're looking for.
Right.
I'm hoping that Kyle Williams is kind of like it's between him and Mac Hollins kind of deal, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Do you watch?
Because then, like a Booty has more of an opportunity to stay on the team.
Do you watch Agent 89?
Yeah, Steve Smith. He said that Kyle Williams was him. They're the same guy, which is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Kyle Williams is like the guy who's like, he'll throw a punch if you mess with him. Which honestly, I mean, as long as we can keep it under control, I think that's something that we were kind of looking for with a receiver. Like obviously we have Stephon Diggs, but I don't think he's as much of a diva as he used to be. At least he wasn't at Texas, but yeah, I think obviously Kyle Williams has to be a great receiver, but if he can bring that fiery edge to him too, like I think that'll lit a fire in that receiver room, because the biggest personality we have right now is Kendrick Bourne. Right? He's not someone who's gonna get fired up over a call or something.
Yeah, it's like, see, with Kendrick Bourne, as much as I do like him, it's like you guys are holding on too long. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing, kind of like with the Juju. Like Kendrick Bourne is okay, and he has been somewhat one of your better receivers. 2021, he definitely had a good year that year. So him with Josh McDaniels, but now it's like step aside. I think, well, who knows what Baker seems like, from what I'm basically getting at, like it doesn't seem like it's a talent problem with him. It seems like it's more of he doesn't know where to line up.
Which is like the worst, right? Because if he has all the talent in the world, then he has the potential of being whatever the hell he wants to be. If the mentals aren't there, that's not something that you can you can't really work too much with if you just can't grasp it, right?
Yeah, or it depends.
Especially with the Josh McDaniels.
Or it depends on how it's being taught to you, because it looks like the offensive line couldn't block under Alice Van Pelt. Wide receivers couldn't run routes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of that going on. So
so it's just like, who knows what the hell was going on? And like I said, I did hear that he played 70% of his snaps in college on one side of the field. So that does have a lot to do with somewhat schemes and stuff, like how I was saying, how these kids are coming up, and some of these schemes that they're just playing in are just not conducive to how the game of football is played at the highest level. You know what
right. I mean, with John Gruden, he had like his QB class or whatever.
Right.
And like all the QBs, all their snap counts was just clapping their hands. Like they was super basic. So, yeah, I mean, the college game is just so much simpler than the NFL, especially with like Josh McDaniels coming in, right? This is going to be the most complex offense that they've seen yet. I'm hoping that Drake is able to take in all of it. So then, like, if a player comes up to like, hey, what do I do? Drake just tells them. So then, right, those mental errors of not letting up correctly can kind of go out the window, because Drake will just be like, hey, nope, you're over here. Right. Like, I think that would help them. But, like, that's putting a lot on Drake on a brand new offense. Right. That's going to be, I mean, it's going to be catered to him. So him trying to cater to everyone else, I can see it becoming an issue.
I feel like our offense, like scheme wise, I feel like it's going to give a lot of defenses problems, because I feel like the offensive identity is going to shift on a week by week basis.
Yes,
so,
for
like,
sure.
This week it might be this guy. You know what I mean? That's why I like that we have those type of receivers, where it could be like with Josh McDaniels in the building, like all we need is competent wide receiver play. all this, they need a dominant number one. They needed this. They needed that. Not everybody has that dominant number one type of ability. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
there's only a few guys that we can point to in the league that really is a true X factor and number one wide receiver that does spectacular stuff week in and week out.
And neither of those players have, been. I mean, one of the teams didn't even make the playoffs, so it's like
realistically, even when you talk about like players like DK Metcalf, he underachieves. All right,
right.
Say something about his quarterback situation, whatever. But yeah, of course, you're gonna see him. Some games he's gonna go crazy, and then some games you're gonna leave your head scratching and then wondering why he's not out there. His nickname should have been Graveyard. He should have been leaving bodies everywhere out there, honestly.
Right.
With
and with the scheme, because Javon Baker, right, has all the talent in the world. Kyle Williams has all the talent in the world. Like, we have receivers that have a lot of talent. Like,
us too. He has good hands, even in training camp.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Right. And then DeMar Douglas, I mean, he's super shifty. Right. I think our players have the talent. We just gotta have a scheme that takes advantage of those. And obviously Josh McDaniels is the guy to do it, right? There's honestly no question.
Honestly though, Brendan, like, think about it. Early on in the season, Jalen Pope looked decent, right? But
there's just a few deep balls that just didn't connect, and I think honestly after that touchdown that got called that he was out of bounds, which is bullshit. Yeah. Like, since then, it just started to kind of go away.
And that's because that was on the coaching staff. They buried that kid on the depth chart. And now, like I said, considering seeing how it all played out, I think that was by the coaches and everything else, because they were scrambling, trying to figure out their jobs and, you know what I mean, how not to get fired, shit like that. And that's exactly what happened. So it's like they try to prioritize their own development over the development of the team.
Yeah.
Everybody just wanted Gerard Mayo to get all these passes, and then it's like, listen, all this, you gotta give him more than 1 year. No, that was historically bad. Like I tell anybody, unless you literally watch the Patriots, stop talking about what happened with Gerard Mayo and how it was so wrong. Because then if you watch the team, can you really say it's wrong? Or some of these guys that like the race bait or anything like that, take all that shit out of it. And look at what's on the field. And look at what's being said in these press conferences. That was a broken team.
Right.
With a false leader. And, Bill might be compromised. Like, I don't even know what the hell happened with him. But he might be fucking compromised.
Like, right.
The team was just in a bad spot. It's like we were in a dark age. So I'm hoping, not even more so like the coach Vrabel and everything else. Man, this is a player's game. Can these players get it right? Because Mike Vrabel, he's a good coach. Josh McDaniels, good coach. Terrell Williams, I mean, he's safeguarded because even if something goes wrong, we still got Mike Vrabel to fall back on, who's been known to be a good defensive coordinator. So these are things that I'm not worried about. I just want to know if that talent level is there. And to be honest with you, what Josh McDaniels did with Mac Jones in his rookie year, and even a little small – wait, no, he wasn't. Josh McDaniels wasn't in New England when Jimmy G was playing, was he?
I think he was, wasn't he?
I could have sworn he said he never coached Jimmy G.
Was he in Denver at that point?
I think so, but didn't he get fired in 2012 from Denver or 2013?
It was right before Peyton Manning, right? Wasn't Manning?
Yeah, Jimmy G 13? Started some games in 2016. I think he was the freaking offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah, because we won Super Bowls with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
So
Yeah, it was something he was saying about Jimmy G. But anywho, like
but
he's called some good games with some marginally good quarterbacks. Like, all right, yeah, as a head coach, you can say whatever, but I don't think he should have went to the Raiders in the first place. If you ask me, they already had a whole bunch of BS that's going on, and they're still in a whole bunch of BS.
right. I mean, he took
like,
him because that was probably the only team that wanted him, right? And they paid him well. I mean, he's still getting paid by them. I'm sure that contract kind of, made all the bad stuff look good.
Right. So it's just who knows anymore. I just feel like doesn't really exactly know what the hell they're doing. And I'm talking about some of these owners as a whole. And a lot of them are getting so old to the point where it is time to start questioning what the hell is their mental capacity.
Jerry Jones.
He's one of them. There's a lot of them. Maybe the younger 40 and 50-year-old children and stuff like that need to start taking over.
Well, that's kind of what I like about Kraft. Jonathan's starting to take more of the load. I'm hoping that he has a lot of it.
I feel like he's been doing it, and that's why I feel like some of this stuff is happening.
Okay.
Seriously, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm curious at how much he's actually contributed to.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's all the way in. Listening to Robert Kraft sit there and talk through an interview? No.
Yeah, if he can barely get through that, then like making business decisions, I'm assuming would be so much more difficult, nearly impossible.
Right. The last thing he probably did, he probably overrided Jonathan with the Gerard Mayo thing. And Jonathan's probably like, no, because he finally got Bill out the door. So Jonathan probably wanted a coach that he can rest his legacy on. But his dad had twinkle eyes for Gerard Mayo. All right, boom. Fast forward, Gerard Mayo ain't it. Told you, Dad. This is bad. Look what they're saying about us. And look at freaking Mike Vrabel. He's about to go interview with the Jets. He's one of our own. Wow. A lot of the stuff that the Patriots did, aside from the Stephon Diggs thing, was kind of foreseeable for a while. The Mike Vrabel thing. How long has Mike Vrabel been linked to the Patriots?
I mean, ever since he got fired by the Titans, really.
The Will Campbell pick.
Drake May, like that pick.
Right.
That was
Drake
pretty.
May. Like, a lot of this stuff is foreseeable for the Patriots. Now it's about making these things happen. We knew they were going to spend a lot of money in free agency. We knew who the free agents were going to be. Not exactly which ones they were going to sign, but
yeah, we knew what style and position and stuff.
Yep. And that, that's what it is. So now the Patriots, they have to fight against Buffalo. And like I said, I think it's Josh Allen because, all right, they're depth pieces. Everybody, they're second and third team or whatever the case may be. Look how bad they look against the Patriots second and third team. So we know Josh Allen is all the difference maker in the world. Is there any receiver on Buffalo's roster that you feel like on a down basis can beat the Patriots wide receivers back to back?
Maybe Shakir. I mean, Keon Coleman, but it's probably Shakir.
Beating who? Not Gonzo. I definitely don't see him beating Carlton Davis neither. For as big as he is, he's soft. I'm telling you, go watch his tape. Go watch his tape and how them cornerbacks be in his chest.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just Shakir, which, I mean, Gonzo would obviously lock him up if it was just one-on-one. I think Carlton Davis is so physical.
Because on the perimeter. You can put Marcus Jones on him in the slot. I think he'll hold up against him pretty well.
Yeah, they're both small, both kind of shifty, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Marcus Jones is the one you call for those type of guys. And I feel like he'll hold up pretty damn well with that. So it's like looking around at it, I think top to bottom, without free agency signings, we got a better defense. Offense, Eric, the only reason anybody is going to say that the Patriots don't have a better offense than the Buffalo Bills right now is obviously
Josh.
because it's Josh Allen, and we don't know what this Patriots offense is about to look like. I'm hungry. You ain't bringing that? I'm sorry. No, I'm hungry.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the biggest thing is going to be that offensive line. Like, obviously, that was, I think it was our biggest need. I think if they improve by at least 50%, right, our offense is going to skyrocket, because I think that cost us so many games was those penalties and just, letting up massive plays when we're going down the field. I think that's going to be a massive difference maker.
And who's going to rise up to the test? Because, all right, there's been 3 new wide receivers brought in. Honestly, I think Mac Hollins should be on the cut block too.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, especially with Kyle Williams signing.
A 1-year deal. Like, I watch Bill do it all the time. I watch a lot of people do that. Bring these guys in on 1-year deals, and then by the end of training camp or something, or, they're no longer on the team. The Dontrell Inmans and all that. Like, I see that from a lot of players. So,
right.
That wide receiver room, like I said, we need at least 5 solid ones. So if you could choose 5 wide receivers out of that room right now, who would you go with?
Diggs, Williams, Pop, Booty. And that's where it kind of gets a little tricky.
And it's sad because they put it.
I think just potential-wise, Baker. That's kind of what I would do.
I wouldn't argue with you on that. It's just sad that the Patriots put the team in that type of position.
Right, because like Polk and Baker, we didn't give them a fair shot. So that's 2 positions. Right, that's 2 people on the depth chart that were like, do we want to get rid of them? I mean, like production-wise, it says we should, but the way we kind of handled it says no. So like it's not like super clear cut, and there's so many of those guys that are not clear cut. Yeah, and I'm nervous that we're gonna get rid of someone like a Booty who we should keep. And
right, because it's like you got one guy not seeing the field at all, but you keep putting Vidarian Lowe out there, or you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
DeMontre Jacobs.
And then like all you say all season is, oh, Baker has all the talent in the world. Like, this guy is awesome. Right. Yada, yada, yada. But then, like, right, he doesn't even see the fucking field. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, if you think he's the greatest thing since Jerry Rice, why is he not out there? Like, if it's truly like he doesn't know where to go on the field, like, that shouldn't be a problem. Like, all you have to do when they go in the huddle, Drake just be like, hey, Baker, you're on the left side. This is what route you're running. Like, if that's all that was the issue, like, they should have been able to handle that, like, on the field. No problem. Right, because Drake knows what Baker's doing. He knows where he's supposed to line up. Just have Drake be like, hey, you're on this side, you're running this route. On 2. You know what I mean? Like, that should have been an easy thing to come over. So I think there's something else going on. I'm assuming personality just didn't gel with them or something, right? I mean, like, just not knowing the play, like, shouldn't be like the biggest deal, because, right, Drake should have just been able to handle that.
Jalen Polk had, in 15 games, he had 33 targets. So if you break that up, that's barely 2 targets a game. So
right,
we know that Drake May can play. How many plays did they draw up for Jalen Polk? That's what I'm saying. Like, I can, and this is me kind of trying to defend him, because it's like, it doesn't make sense. I've never seen a player selected in the 2nd round and been healthy all year and only put up 12 catches for 87 yards. Like, that is
right. And those 33 targets, how many were in the first, like, 4 games?
Right.
Where he actually was, like, actually targeted? So right. I can guarantee you probably half of them were, the first quarter of the season, and then the other 2, 3/4 or whatever were the rest of the season. Like, I'm sure, like, it just dropped like crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and now you brought in another newcomer that's liked by the coaching staff that brought him in.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy. It's crazy because once again, like I said, it's not taking nothing from Kyle Williams. He probably be a good player, but that was what they were looking for last year: a player with inside-out versatility. That's what Jalen Polk has. Inside-out versatility. That's what Kendrick Bourne has.
Right.
That's what Keyshawn Booty has. So, you know what I mean? Washing the same dish. Like,
Yeah. Right.
I sometimes don't get the draft strategy.
Yeah, I'm just. I really hope Kyle Williams is that guy because I think, right, he'll help kind of eliminate a bunch of players.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get buried on the depth chart. Like Alex Van Pelt's just a dickhead. I'm sorry to put it like that. But it's just like, for the life of me, there's no way that some of those players should have suffered like that last year. Or the fact that he sat him and stuck him in the doghouse. Maybe he tried to be Belichick without Belichick being there. Because, you know, Belichick did that to Booty.
Right, yeah. And then he also did it to Pop.
Yep.
Which, like, we are not a team that should be doghousing anybody. Right? Like, every single person on our team should have, you know, great opportunity to kind of show their stuff because I don't think we're in a position to have a coaching staff be like, oh, you're not good enough. Because the whole team isn't good enough. Like, clearly, right? We had 4 wins in back-to-back years. Like, no one is good enough to be above anyone else. Right? Maybe besides Christian Gonzalez. But, like, you know, it's like he's obviously he's arguably the best corner in the league. So, like, there should be no doghousing. Everyone should have the opportunity. Like, in training camp and stuff like that, we should be seeing every receiver on the first team just cycling through. Everyone should have plays drawn up for them. Right. And then in preseason, we should be seeing everyone. Like, everyone should be really being able to showcase their stuff. And then hopefully that gives them a fair shot. Yeah, because someone like Javon Baker, like, he has too much talent to not even be seen in the field. Right? Just because he doesn't know the play doesn't mean he shouldn't be on the field. Right? We're not good, and we don't have Tom Brady, you know, telling the coaching staff, "Hey, he doesn't know what he's doing. Get him out." Because we don't have like 30 players just like him that are ready to go. Right? Javon Baker is more talented than our other receivers, so we should have a lot more leeway. We're not at that position yet.
Right. And that's all I'm getting at. It's just like Elliott Wolf. I don't understand why. Like, why?
Yeah, right.
Why? Like, you keep bringing in all these guys, just like the whole Joe Milton thing. What was the point of drafting Joe Milton?
Yeah, that made no sense to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they just keep pick players trying to see what sticks and saying the hell with it. The hell with what these players got going on. We're trying to see who's just going to come in and basically step up to the challenge over the last 20 years of not having good wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly. They're basically just trying to bring in everybody and then only letting a select few actually do something. Like they're not like actually like picking and choosing the players and, you know, seeing what if they're able to step up to the challenge. They're basically just like, hey, we're gonna sign all of you. It's now up to you guys to show us what you got, but we're not gonna, you know, make the decision on who gets to see the field. Or I don't know if I worded that right, but like the way they set it up was like,
right.
They're trying to play catch up, but they're not letting the players catch up. You know,
right.
Like they're not giving everyone the opportunity. They're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get everybody in here, but you and you are the only ones who are to see the first team.
Yeah, because it's like Van Pelt.
So it's like, okay.
It's like Van Pelt was trying to come out and act like he was just like this expert. But like, what has he done for him to be putting anybody in the doghouse? that any of his offenses, oh, he's a quarterback whisperer. Okay, what about the rest of the offense?
Right. Yeah.
And not to mention, he sat up there in our face and told us for 6 weeks, oh, Jacoby. What about Jacoby? Yeah, we feel like Jacoby gives us the best chance to win. Jacoby this, Jacoby that. And when we're watching with our eyes, like, what best chance to win? Oh, my God. Listen, I'm about to go crazy start talking about this.
Yeah.
It's
Also, I could be a QB whisperer if my quarterback is Drake May. Like,
right.
you know how easy it is to have Drake May be a good quarterback?
Right.
like, it's just crazy.
And because he has that understanding and love for the game, too. He ain't a lazy kid. He leans into his talent. He's getting skilled. He's trying to get better. He's growing. He understands that he's the leader of that locker room. Everything you want to make up for a successful young quarterback.
Right. Super motivated, super smart, super talented. Like, it was hard to fuck that up.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's like, had Elliott Wolf not picked Drake May last year, he would not have been able to live in New England or nowhere. Wherever he was at, they was going to get him. But
right. Yeah.
We got to give credit for Drake May. No, his draft skills look bad. They look bad. They look bad.
Yeah, we really need this draft to have a bunch of contributors. Because, like, all of our defensive picks really should all be on the field at some point. Right? All of them are depth pieces. I think we should be having them rotate like crazy, especially the defensive line with, like, Farmer and Swinson. But just having all those guys just rotate constantly. We have all those linebackers. They should be rotating all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? We have so many safeties and corners. Like, we should just be having players just constantly changing, you know. And I think that's going to make a successful draft if everyone can see the field.
And it's like Philly picks at 32 and they're still crushing the draft.
Right.
Like, Philly got a haul. They got a haul. Fucking the Atlanta Falcons. They ain't need our damn third round pick. They ain't need that third round pick they sent us. Why? Because they got 2 edge rushers in the first round. That fixed the Judon problem.
Right.
That, like, look around you. Teams are making moves. It's like people are making fun of the Patriots front office because you already know what happens if these players don't work out, who's going to get the blame? Both Elliott Wolf and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, Mike Groh.
It's definitely going to be Wolf and Groh. They're going to be like, these guys need to get out and let Mike Vrabel run this team the way that he wants to. He doesn't need him. This player's not good. I'm telling you. Watch. I already see it.
Yeah, but I mean, this draft is clearly under Mike Vrabel's image. I think it sounds like there's a lot of collaboration, but I have a feeling that Mike Vrabel just kind of told everyone what he wants, and everyone just agreed that it makes the most sense for the team.
Man, they almost missed getting that pick in because they was arguing. Tells you.
Yeah, I wish I like it. I like that there's like a lot of, you know, back and forth and trying to figure things out. Like, I don't want it to just like with like Gerard Mayo, where like all they did was just like pick players of need. So like, I don't think there was a lot of arguing going on because.
You want to know why I don't like it?
Why?
Because it's like you had to have known that Travion Henderson was going to be there at that point. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, what changed that to get y'all arguing on draft night? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what did your draft board look like? Because if Travion Henderson, like he said, he didn't even have much contact with the Patriots. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
It was like, what changed in all that time, in that little bit of time since you picked Will Campbell down to the 38th pick, that would cause for the coach, whoever, to be in there arguing before the pick? Because
it had to have been between him and Luther Burden. And I'm assuming they just kind of convinced themselves with Kyle Williams, like, hey, we can still wait and get a receiver that we really like. I'm assuming that was the big part.
Just as effective as Luther Burden. Because, see, over in the Bears, Luther Burden's volume might not be that high. On the Patriots, it would have been a little higher. So, I don't know. That is a good, like, I just want to know. Like, I literally wish that I had the footage of what took place in the draft room.
Right, and if Mike Vrabel just told everyone to shut up and that he was making the pick, like I wonder like how the last say, came to fruition. Like if it was just Vrabel putting his foot down or
Wolf pick.
Nah, I think it was a Vrabel / McDaniels kind of pick because Vrabel brought in McDaniels and this Travion Henderson's a McDaniels kind of running back, so. I have a feeling that it was kind of between them two.
That's possible. Yeah, probably gang up on them because they feel like they got more say-so than them anyway.
Right, yeah. I mean, Ellie Wolf is not as established as either of those guys.
But he's their boss. That's the problem.
Right.
But
yeah, that's a weird dynamic.
But they have a close relationship with Elliott's boss. So it's like,
right. It's like everyone's kind of supersedes each other, but at the same time they don't. And
at any given moment, anybody can be undermined.
Right.
I just hope that this draft class do work out because if it don't, I feel like there's gonna be some scapegoating and finger pointing. And not to mention that one of those players that we kept on the bench all last year takes off and goes somewhere else and balls out.
Yeah, well, I'm nervous if this – obviously, it, sets us back another few years. But, losing players like Christian Gonzalez and maybe Drake May at some point. If we keep missing on these drafts, we're going to lose those guys.
Right.
If we lose Christian Gonzalez, we just totally fucked everything up. We cannot lose someone like that. He should be convinced to stay here forever. These draft classes need to start hitting now with him on a rookie contract and Drake May on a rookie contract. They have to hit. We got to take advantage of this or else we're going to lose those pieces. And if we lose someone like a Gonzo or like a Drake May, then we're screwed for a decade. Those are Super Bowl level talents that are also in massive positions. Those are people that we can't afford to lose, and that's this draft class has to work out.
That's why I said about the Henderson thing because it's for y'all to take him there. Do you see us as a playoff team or a real life legitimate Super Bowl contender in the next 4 years? Because that's what his contract calls for. 4 years. There's no fifth-year option on the second round pick.
Right.
I just feel like it's the Sony Michel bullshit all over again. It's the 2009. It's the 2018 draft. Offensive tackle, running back. Damn.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Who did we go with the third round in that draft?
I have no idea. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I know Bentley came in the 5th round. Christian Sam came in the 4th round. We double dipped on linebackers in the 4th and 5th round. I forget who was the 3rd round pick. Was it Derek Rivers? It was Derek Rivers, the edge.
Yeah, maybe.
Hold on, I'm about to. He's similar to Keon White. Watch. Hold on.
Yeah, it's always tough with drafts because like every draft that you see, you're like, oh that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. And then there's all this hype and there's all this hope, and then the second it happens,
Oh, he was
start playing, then it's like
2017.
just a disaster. It's so hard to tell.
He was a 2017 draft pick. Oh wait, I
Okay.
don't think we had a 3rd round pick that year. Then we traded for Brandon Cook. Oh, I gotta look. 2018 draft picks.
Yeah, I hope to fucking God it's not. I mean, it has to be. We have to hit on all of our drafts coming
Dawson.
up to like have a shot.
Duke Dawson in the 2nd round. Fucking trash.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many bad drafts.
Duke Dawson was terrible. The 2018 draft was Isaiah Wynn at pick 23.
Terrible.
And you got Sony Michel at pick 31.
Had a good start.
Sony Michel, I feel like that was a good pick because he played his ass off in that playoffs. And basically, essentially, him and Edelman won that Super Bowl for us.
Right, that's like we got a Super Bowl from him. Like we got a year out of him.
And he played a big part of it, so I'm gonna give him a pass. Duke Dawson just couldn't stay healthy. Like I don't know what the fuck happened with that. Jawan Bentley, that was a good pick. Christian Sam, terrible. Braxton Berrios, Danny Etling, Keon.
Terrible. Yeah, like terrible. Like I know. I just want contributors. I'm not looking for like obviously Will Campbell. I think that he has the potential of being a Patriot Hall of Famer kind of deal, but I'm not. I'm looking for contributors. I want people who can contribute and aren't detrimental when they get on the field.
There looks like we'll wait what we see from Will Campbell, but it looks like their last 3 first-round picks have been hits.
Right, we're on a decent streak. I mean, obviously outside Drake May, the draft class seems terrible, but like Drake May was the biggest thing in that draft. It's like as long as he hits, like then it's technically successful. Right, he's the most important position in professional sports. So that was the biggest worry. And then obviously Christian Gonzalez, massive hit. Yeah, we're on a little streak, and I'm hoping it continues with Campbell. That'd just be massive. We just need like those later rounds to start hitting again, like it used to, right? Getting like an Edelman and just like those late round guys. I think that's where the longevity of greatness comes from, is getting those later round picks to start hitting.
For sure.
Get that depth. So
sure.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm hoping that this class works out. I mean, we'll see. We won't have a lot of content for a while, which sucks, but I'm glad that we at least have, a 90-man roster so we can kind of see what we're looking at.
Right.
But I mean, I'm excited.
Training camp.
Yep. So pumped.
That's where we're all gonna have to watch it go down at training camp.
Yep, definitely.
You'll know if it's good if you see a lot of clips coming out of training camp. A lot of oohs and ahs. And usually that's what you could tell. But then again, Tyquan Thornton was turning heads.
I would say Tyquan and Polk were crazy in training camp. But I'm more curious at just like seeing like, Braden Swinson, he's getting more and more reps at first team defense or second team defense.
Oh,
like I want to hear I want to hear these guys like moving up the depth chart and getting more opportunities. Like I think that's kind of more what I'm looking for, and just kind of seeing that, because I don't want to have someone like Jake Andrews, who we drafted as a center, who never saw the field. Like he never did anything.
Right.
I can't think of others, but like stuff like that, like where it just never became anything. I want to at least see these guys getting opportunities, because we're talking about Polk and Baker not getting any. I want that to change. I'm hoping training camp is realistic in showing that.
Yep. I'm
But-
definitely like,
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, I'm excited. Good
all
draft.
right, for sure.
Good draft.
We're gonna catch you next week, bro.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
7-year-old.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your
Is it- I mean-
responsibility?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.